Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz pianist and composer Alex Koo. We caught up with him in May of 2020 to talk about his latest 2019 CD, Appleblueseagreen, and all things related to this new COVID-19 world of no live jazz. This Belgian-Japanese pianist and composer is making a name for himself as a promising young talent on the European jazz scene. He's got great insights into the now and the future. Enjoy.
When did you know in Brussels that everything was going to start coming to a halt, that jazz was going to be done live for a while?
I think it was getting clear the end of March, more or less. Mid-March, they started canceling my gigs until April. I had a whole tour in March canceled. That was where Ralph Alessi was going to join us as well. So that was a big blow, and then some more gigs got canceled. But then I think in April they decided that everything until the end of August was going to be canceled. And then I think all the musicians kind of realized, like, wow, okay, no gigs for half a year. That's kind of
wow.
And I guess we all accepted it. Meanwhile, it's a bit difficult.
It's weird, man. It's very, very weird. So, talk to me a little bit about your beginnings. You know, you have a history in obviously Belgium and Japan. Talk to me a little bit about kind of how things started for you and geographically kind of how things have led up to right now.
Okay, well, I started playing music as a pretty young child. I think I was about 5 years old when I started playing piano, and mainly classical. I really come from my family first played the violin, and my parents wanted me to, play piano. It was in my teenage years that I started more playing, jazz, experimenting with jazz, and then I went to the Netherlands, to The Hague in Amsterdam, to study there. Did a bachelor and a master. Then I went to Copenhagen for a year, and then I moved to New York for 2 years. And it was in New York that I met a lot of interesting musicians that I began to play with, and especially the influence of Ralph Alessi and Mark Turner was really instrumental in my development. And then after I lived in New York for 2 years, did some I did a record with Mark and Ralph as well. Then I went and that's where I am kind of now. So mainly playing in Europe, Belgium, in and around Belgium.
Now
do a lot of improv and a lot of piano-based things, but also some electronic stuff. A little bit of everything.
Have you noticed that the response to jazz in Europe is a lot different than America? There just seems to be a different kind of fervor about it.
Yes, I do think so as well. Yeah, for sure, stylistically there can sometimes be some differences. Also audience-wise, but it's also very dependent on which European countries. I feel like Belgium, Germany, and Switzerland, they kind of like similar artists, and maybe it's a little bit different in other parts of Europe. Eastern Europe is a little bit different in terms of jazz. But yes, compared to the US, I also feel like there's maybe more free jazz here somehow.
I'd agree with that. What was the first live jazz show that you ever saw that really made you think that's what you want to do?
A really good question. I think I saw Wayne Shorter once live with his quartet. So it's the same quartet that the same quartet still now. And that really blew my mind a bit. And I thought, wow, it can. That's what jazz can be as well. And that was about, I think, about 15 years ago, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, and that really blew my mind in a way that it could have that much energy, and it's all about just playing songs, and that was really a mind opener. I was completely ready for it yet, like it's a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
It had something, and I thought something I couldn't completely comprehend, but at the same time I thought, yeah, that's something really special.
So why do you love jazz?
I think in it. Like I said before, I come a bit from a classical family, just didn't really venture into jazz. So, it was all about, what is written and how you interpret it. And I was really way more attracted to the notion of creating everything my own. And being viable or, any preconceived, limits that were attached to it. And I think that was really, like, for me, jazz was the only thing that really meant, like, you do any and exploration and that kind of thing involved. So I think that really was the biggest, factor that attracted me to the music, just the open spirit and experimentation and exploration.
So let me ask you this. Once we get to the end of this whole COVID-19 thing, what's your hope for the musician and the audience when they come back? What do you hope they realize about not having jazz for this long?
Yeah, I hope that the feeling that people take music and arts for granted, that maybe this whole epidemic is going to change that, and people will appreciate it more and go see more shows and just go because nowadays, just in the age of like Spotify and streaming and YouTube, us as musicians will never make any more selling music, but just the only thing that still separates live music and especially jazz from a lot of other things is the and I hope that people after half year of live music to appreciate it. Maybe it can change things around, and maybe so people appreciate it in general. So I really truly hope that it gives a positive change in terms of arts and culture and music in general.
Let's say you do come to Kansas City and play a live show. How would you describe one of your shows?
Well, I try to always go for a part in a set where we really try to dig into some new discovery on stage. So I do have like some songs and they're a little bit like my music's. There's a lot of like trance, like repetitive patterns, really like ambient things, but also the melodies are usually pretty strong and they repeat a lot. So what I like in my sets that in between these strong songs or songs with a clear melody and pattern, that we improvise from point A to point B. Point A being one song, point B being another song, and rather than this is the tune, let's play a few choruses over this tune, improvise a bit. More and more I like to just have one big long live set and make it really different than what is on a CD. Really try to go from one song to the other, but it's actually the connection in between the songs, which is like the unknown, where we try to get from one song to the other and try to make some magic happen on the stage, which is impossible to make some kind of difference in between a live performance. That's a little bit what I try to go aim towards, like really try to give the audience something really that they can like get sucked into this path, this kind of exploration together with the musicians.
Alex, hey, thanks for taking a minute out for Neon Jazz today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome, and thanks for the call.
Thanks for listening and tuning into another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Belgium, Japan, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Alex for his time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.